This is Debbie, and welcome to my Offbeat Journey to becoming a full-time location-independent freelancer. I'll be sharing my tips and tricks as well as the realities of this offbeat lifestyle. Hey everyone, welcome back to my Offbeat Journey. I am really excited to be here with you today because I have a really exciting theme with you, and I'm bringing back Aaron. Hey Aaron.
Hey, Debbie.
He's not wanting to be here, but I needed somebody to have a conversation with me because I'm not feeling too well this week, so it'll make it easier to talk to you all. Thanks, Aaron, for being here.
No problemo.
So our theme today that Aaron thought of, thanks Aaron, is change, right? Because there's a lot of things that we do, whether with our personal life or our business, that sometimes gets in our way because we're not willing to change certain things about our way of thinking or ourselves. So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I think the whole thing is obviously change. It's change that we have control over and change that you want to embrace for your own life, because there's going to be a lot of events in life that you don't have any control over. And those are changes that we can, learn to better accept. But I think specifically here, we want to talk about things that we're going to change about ourselves.
And change not meaning you completely change everything about yourself. I think it's just shedding the old so that you have space for the new things in your life that you really want in your life. Because I tend to notice that whenever we're so busy with what we have done in the past that's consuming our time, our energy, that actually doesn't give us value, we don't have room for things that are going to give us value, that are going to be really good for us, ourselves, and our business.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that a lot with people. What do they say, that people watch TV an average of like 4 hours a day? And I get it if like you're working and it's background noise, like somebody I know.
That's me.
But you're not just watching TV, not doing any work. Like, you're working the whole time. But in terms of like people are just lounging around watching TV, you could take 2 of those 4 hours and clean up your place, or you could, start like whatever project you were supposed to do. Anything productive that you were basically going to do. It could be exercise, could be, more reading, anything that's going to help you, like you say, kind of shed the old self and become the person you really want to be. That's the kind of change I think that we really want to think about and expand on.
And also, I just read a article on Facebook from one of my friends, and they were kind of listing down certain excuses that we have. So, for example, we'll spend $100 on a meal one day, but we're not willing to spend that $100 on, a service that we really need for our business. We're willing to spend, like you said, 4 hours to watch television, but we don't have an hour to go to the gym. So it's just what your priorities are too, if you think about it, because we tend to do things that we want to do, but if it's things that we need to do and we have to do for ourselves, we always find excuses, even though we know it's going to make us better.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is just I'm going to say the P word that people don't like to talk about, and everybody is afraid of it, but it's unfortunate or fortunate, depending how you look at it, that you got to embrace that. And the P word, of course, is pain. You have to put yourself into positions that are going to be painful for you, and not something like, I want to force myself to create my business, so I'm going to give away all my money and, move to India and go on some type of transformative, adventure. You could do that, but it might just be more prudent and a better idea to just say, hey, you know what, instead of, buying extra food that's maybe not healthy for me, I'm gonna feel the pain and also but also feel the reward and the self discipline that I didn't eat the extra food and eat the extra ice cream, even though we're probably gonna go get some ice cream later.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if it's different, if you earn it, if you're eating like junk all the time, or you're not exercising, or you're not working on your business, you want to really feel the pain while you're doing it, but also the satisfaction that when you're done. So embracing change or embracing change, a big part of it to me, and I think that's important, is like you're gonna put pain on yourself. The pain of making phone calls if you're cold calling, the pain of sitting in front of the computer and really focusing on a task. Like, I'm gonna be here for like 5 hours just on this one thing. You have to be willing to do that if you're gonna make changes, and also do it consistently. So.
And you were talking to me about this too the other day about taking the time to actually have those moments of knowing that you have to do the certain tasks, right? Because and then telling yourself, because a lot of times when we're doing certain tasks that we don't want to do, we always put a negative connotation to it, like, oh my gosh, I have to do this again. But if you spin it in a more positive way, saying, okay, because I'm doing these phone calls, or because I'm taking all of this time to do this, I'm going to achieve this. So spinning it in a more positive way rather than just putting something negative
Mm-hmm.
from those types of work that you're doing can definitely change your way of thinking when it comes to certain tasks that you don't really want to do. And I think that's really helpful exercise to use. And we're also going to be talking about certain exercises that we've used to help ourselves change and to get into a new chapter with our personal life and our business as well, because it's not easy. It's not easy to make these changes within yourself. I mean, it's really easy to see what other people need to do to make the changes, but when you have to do it yourself, it is so completely different. And I think that's why we're better at giving advice than taking it, even if it's advice that we're trying to give ourselves. So it's really tough. I really believe that it's so tough, and I definitely know that that's so true.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that you were kind of alluding to, that about the conversation we were having was, and this is a difficult thing for me. I'm not always the most grateful person, and it's like me saying that just it makes me feel ungrateful. But I don't. I think a lot of people may struggle with this because we have a lot of things. Especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're really working towards stuff, especially if you're successful at it, if you're making some money, or even if you're planning on doing that someday, like that's a luxury that a lot of people really don't have. And I do mean luxury because I was explaining to you, we were talking about it the other day, and I think just being grateful about the fact that, like, some people say, oh, I don't want to make these calls, phone calls. Why would I want to do it? I don't want to send emails and market to people and make sales and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that would trade places with you in the world in a heartbeat. And, there's people that literally can't pick up the phone to make that phone call. If they don't have use of their arms or whatever it is, or maybe they have some sort of issue that they're dealing with. And this could even just be somebody that's not emotionally strong enough to like make the changes they want right now, and that's okay. I've had things that happened to me where I didn't feel like I could do a whole lot, and just being an entrepreneur or heading down that path is an emotional strain enough. So if you're thinking about, oh man, I don't want to do this stuff, find the gratitude in the task will help a lot, I believe.
Yeah. And being grateful for what you have, because even right now, not to get to the extremes of like not having an arm or anything like that, if you have a 9 to 5 and you're creating income from it, that is a really big thing. You're putting money on the table, you're able to support yourself, and you have the luxury of thinking about, maybe I want to do this remotely. Yes, 9 to 5 suck for most of us who have it and you don't enjoy it, but there's something to be really grateful for you to even have a job. You know, if you don't have a job and you're listening to this right now, you definitely know what we're talking about. And we've both been in a situation where we didn't have a lot, you know, and you really have to struggle to get by. And just having perspective and understanding what you had gone through and what you're doing right now, and just being grateful for all of the accomplishments that you've already done already, is such a huge thing.
Yeah, I think if you can do like an actionable thing towards that, it would be to have like a vision board, and also take an inventory of like your confidence. And what that is basically, you can write down things that you've accomplished, because we tend to have a short-term memory, and you might feel like you haven't done a whole lot recently, or you don't have a lot to be grateful for. But remember, like if it was a hike you did, for me, I have hikes that I did that I was really proud of myself. There's things like in martial arts that I achieved, like getting black belts that I'm proud of. And we tend to forget. We tend to just think like, I've been kind of in a rut lately. And, there should be probably things that are cool in your life that are happening every couple months or every month. And if it's happening, really cool things that you're accomplishing every week or every couple weeks, I mean, that's an awesome life. And I think that's something that if you really just focused on, improving yourself, like change, who wouldn't want that life? That's incredible.
So, we're going to tell you some of a few things that we actually do in order to leave a lot of, not a lot, but some of the things that we want to change, right? Whether it's our habits or what we want to do with our businesses, or something in our life that we really want to change. So, one of the things that we have been doing lately is, first, we have been doing a vision board. We're actually in the middle of doing that. Aaron was listing a few of the things that he was going to put in it. And this is the first time you're actually doing this, but I've been doing this for 2 years now, right? Or is
Yeah.
this,
2 or 3 years.
yeah, me, right?
Yeah,
And
you.
this is your first time.
Yeah.
So I think one of the main reasons why you also wanted to do this is you have seen several things on my vision board that have actually come true. Like, they've manifested into something
Yeah.
real. And it's pretty ridiculous how amazing it is. And I think imagery is so important, and just having that every single day to look at, it's very psychological, I think. But if you keep seeing that, I feel like you're maybe working on it,
Well, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I could kind of explain it. I've looked at some of this stuff a little bit, and I'm not a brain scientist or anything like that. But from what I understand, is like we have a region of our brain is like the oldest as far as evolution, is like what we call like a reptile brain, and it's very simple stuff that like keeps you alive, like eating, sleeping, drinking, and from what I understand, we have emotional responses to certain things in that area as well, to a degree. And so what happens is you have, this area of your brain kind of sees in pictures. It's very simple stuff. So if you see the same images on your vision board over and over again, it's almost like you're telling yourself psychologically in an unconscious way, do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, this is what I want you to do. And if you just keep seeing these things, you're going to start to do some of them, I believe.
Yeah. Well, it's just incredible to me that I would write things down and I would put things on my vision board and I would just leave it there. And then I would realize, oh my gosh, a lot of these things actually have come true. So that's one of the things that I try to do every single year in the beginning of the year. The first time I did it on my own, the second time I did it with Esther, and this year I'm doing it with you. So it's kind of interesting how I've been doing it with like either myself or just with different people, but it has been working. And I think it really works. I know this for a fact because it has happened, and there's certain things that at that time I thought it was just something that was out of reach, was just like a goal that I wanted to have someday, and then to actually see it happen is pretty incredible. Are you excited to start putting up your vision board, Aaron?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I mean, everybody. I mean, I'm a guy, so probably cars and stuff is on there somewhere. I'm not gonna lie, but money is like a big one for most of us. I mean, that's probably why a lot of people are listening to this podcast, is to find some type of remote work that fulfills you. And part of fulfilling you is going to be some degree of money. Does that mean that my goal is like tens of millions of dollars? Maybe in the future, but right now I'm just focused on things that are actually, not necessarily within my reach now, but should be in the next year or two. So I think that's important to make the goals somewhat realistic. But leave room for the crazy things, like, if 10, $20 million is like one of your goals, or speaking in front of thousands of people is one of your goals, like, you could put those things on too. I think it's good to have a mix.
Yeah. Well, I always try to have a mix of both things that I can achieve that's achievable sooner, and things that I want to achieve in the future, because you also don't want things on your vision board that you're never going to see until like 10, 20 years from now or 5 years from now, because you also want to make sure that it's motivating you, right? And it's not just a dream, it's actually something that can be achievable. And a lot of the stuff that you can put on there, honestly, I don't really believe it's not going to happen. It's just how long is it going to be before you actually make it happen, and how far are you going to be willing to go to be able to work for it?
Yeah, I just realized too, we didn't really explain what a vision board was,
Oh,
and
yeah.
how to make one. So let's do that real quick. So basically, what it is it's, more or less, you could think of it like a piece of cardboard or some type of
Paper.
display that has a couple different pictures of things you want to achieve. So the first thing you do before you find the pictures is you want to write down what your goals are. So like if it's a money one, like what I did is I have like a net worth track or app that tracks your net worth.
What app do you use for the
It's
networking
called
track?
Personal Capital. And what you
Okay.
do is you link up all your bank accounts and credit cards and any other financial stuff that you have. And what it's going to do is show you what your net worth is. It'll tell you how much cash you have in the bank, all these types of things. And so what I did is I just basically put, I wanted a certain number for my net worth. So I put that, I took that basic image from the app that said net worth and then all the numbers of what it said. And then I just put my own numbers that I wanted in there and I printed it out.
Yeah.
Another one is if you wanted a car, you take a picture. You take a picture online of the
So it's
car.
kind of like, one of the things that I like to do is I like to put it in different categories. One is what you'd like to do for your business. One is personal. One is what's another one, like leisure, like
It could
what
be
you wanna,
fitness too, is
yeah, or
another good one.
fitness, your health. So it could be in different categories, so that you're kind of covering all of these different things in your life that should be or is important to you, your business or your finance, your personal life, relationships with your loved ones, etc., your health, um, and all of these different things. And what you do is, like what Aaron said, you make a list of it, and once you make a list of it, then you start finding those images that you need in order to complete the vision board. And what I usually do is I actually make a folder instead of just like a big paper, because what I do is sometimes if I don't have it up, like I could pin it on top of where my desk is. Or if I need to bring it with me, I don't have this huge paper that I can't bring with me. But if I have um, like a, what did I just say? Like
A
a
folder.
folder, then I could bring it with me and I could still look at it. And also another thing that I do is I take a picture of it and I make it into my screensaver on my phone, so it's literally with me every single day.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think I'm gonna do that as well with my
Yeah.
vision board. You have any parting thoughts?
No, that's about it. I think you guys, if you want to learn more about doing vision boarding, just ask us any questions at hello at the offbeatlife.com. If you have done a vision board and things have come true or they haven't yet, we'd love to discuss that too. And let us know what has come true, because we want to know. And if it hasn't, we'll talk about that as well. So thank you for being here, Aaron, for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Do you have any parting words?
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Hey, Offbeat family, I really appreciate you listening to this episode. I would love to hear more from you and what you think of the podcast. Suggestions on guests, topics we can discuss, or maybe you just want to be friends. Why don't we chat some more on Facebook at The OB Life, or send me a message at hello@theoffbeatlife.com. I can't wait to hear from you.